That shiny bottle or frosted glass might look refreshing, but for seniors, many drinks are ticking time bombs. Hidden sugars that spike blood pressure, chemical additives banned in Europe, and inspection scandals the FDA rarely talks about. Today, we're counting down 9 drinks you must avoid at all costs, and the 2 that are actually safe for your health and peace of mind. Cracking this countdown at number 9, we've got diet sodas, the zero sugar cans that fizz like freedom but backstab your health with every sip. You hear the pop, smell the artificial sweetness, and think you're safe. But that bright can is a chemistry set in disguise. Zero sugar doesn't mean zero risk. Instead of sugar, you're swallowing artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose. Brands pitch them as harmless swaps, but independent studies tell a different story. A Harvard School of Public Health study in 2022 linked regular diet soda drinking to a 20% higher risk of stroke and dementia. For seniors already juggling blood pressure meds, that's not just a statistic. That's playing roulette with your brain. And it isn't only about memory. Aspartame puts stress on the kidneys. The National Kidney Foundation has flagged concerns for years, especially for older adults who already process meds daily. Think about it. You're promised hydration with flavor, but in reality, your kidneys are doing overtime on a liquid experiment. Mini hook. Would you gamble your memory for a can of fizz? Let's talk betrayal. The ads show athletes, happy grandparents, and crystal-clear ice cubes. The reality? The FDA signs off on sweeteners that the European Food Safety Authority treats with far tighter limits. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. even claimed products allowed here wouldn't pass shelves overseas because regulators there actually demand cleaner standards. It's the ugly truth. What's diet in the US is restricted in parts of Europe. Sensory punch. Take a sip of Diet Cola. The fizz hits sharp, but the sweetness has a metallic edge, almost like licking an old coin. The aftertaste lingers, coating your tongue, clinging long after the bubbles fade. That's not refreshment, that's residue. Research shows that diet sodas don't even help with weight or blood sugar. Instead, they trick your brain into craving more sweet things. Seniors trying to keep glucose steady? These cans set them up for spikes and crashes, the very thing they were told they'd avoid. And if you're on heart meds or insulin, that's like mixing oil with fire. Cardiologists have warned for years that combining certain drugs with artificial sweeteners may heighten risks of irregular heartbeats, dizziness, or worse. So what's the fix? You don't need to live without fizz. Switch to sparkling water with lemon or lime slices. You get the bubbles, you get the flavor, but none of the brain and kidney traps. It's refreshment without betrayal. Have you ever switched from regular soda to diet and felt worse? Share it below. Your story might wake someone up before their next sip. And if diet soda is this risky, just wait until you see the so-called energy bomb that can slam your heart harder than any workout. Rolling into number 8, energy drinks. The tall neon cans that hiss like a snake and promise pep in a pour. Crack the tab. A metallic spray hits your tongue. Sweet, chemical, a little like cough syrup, met battery acid. The label brags about focus and power. What does your chest feel like 10 minutes later? A drum solo, caffeine cocktail, or heart hazard? Here's the promise versus the betrayal. Brands sell clean energy, natural focus, and B vitamin boost. What they deliver is a stimulant stack. Caffeine, often 160 to 300 milligrams per can, guarana, which adds even more caffeine under a friendlier name, and taurine for a kick. Toss in sugar or artificial sweeteners, acids, and proprietary blends you can't actually see the doses for. It's not clarity, it's a blindfold. For seniors, this is where it turns risky fast. If you're on beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, ARBs, calcium channel blockers, anticoagulants, or diuretics, that caffeine surge can mean palpitations, dizziness, blood pressure spikes, and bathroom trips that leave you shaky. ER nurses see it all the time. People arrive with racing hearts, trembling hands, and the same line, "I only had one can." Federal hospital data have tallied tens of thousands of energy drink-related ER visits per year at points over the last decade. That's not rare. That's business as usual. You won't believe what's lurking inside. Now the conspiracy-flavored spice you asked for. The FDA lets these products slide in as dietary supplements or beverages, depending on labeling games. Different rules, different loopholes. Meanwhile, as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. loves to say, many formulas would be safer in Europe, where regulators cap caffeine in certain drinks and frown at a few of our flashy additives. So here we are. Energy sold as lifestyle, while the safety net is more like a fishing net with holes. Let's make it sensory. Pour one over ice. The liquid glows like a highlighter. It fizzes with a thin chemical steam that climbs your nose. Take a gulp. Your throat goes sticky sweet. Then the aftertaste hits tin and perfume. 5 minutes later, your heart knocks like a dryer with shoes in it. Your fingers feel buzzy. It's not energy, it's an alarm. And the betrayal keeps going. Some brands parade electrolytes and hydration on the can. Reality check. The sugar dehydrates, and the caffeine is a diuretic nudge. That's a mean combo for older adults whose kidneys already work hard clearing medications. The phosphates some formulas use aren't friendly either. Cardiology folks worry about artery stress from chronic high phosphate intake. Throw in niacin megadoses that can flush your skin and confuse folks who also take statins. And you've got a 16-ounce guessing game with your labs. Real-world moments? Gas station coolers with sticky shelves and warm stock shoved in as trucks unload. Store workers joke it sells either way. A health inspector's write-up once flagged a small vendor for storing cases against a heat register. Great for soup, terrible for anything canned and caffeinated. Warm storage plus time equals taste drift and packaging strain. Not exactly the pristine performance lab vibe from the commercials, but that natural energy pitch leans hard on botanicals. Guarana is just more caffeine. Yerba mate? Caffeine. Green coffee extract? You guessed it, caffeine. The label sings a choir. They're all the same soloist. And if you're wearing a heart monitor, you'll hear the encore. Fix you can use today. Trade the can for unsweetened green tea. One mug usually lands around 25 to 45 milligrams of caffeine, enough to perk you up, not jackhammer your pulse. Brew it, chill it, add lemon. Want fizz? Pour it over sparkling water. You get L-theanine, calm focus, a fraction of the caffeine, and none of the mystery blend. Ever felt your heart race or your hands tremble after just one energy drink? Name the brand and what happened? Let's warn each other. Want to stay ahead of food dangers and hidden risks? Hit subscribe now so you don't miss the facts that could protect your health. Picture a juice carton with orchards on the front. Now pour it into a glass and watch the syrupy sheet slide down. Liquid candy in a fruit costume. Sliding into number 7, bottled fruit juices, the cartons and bottles that scream farm fresh, but pour out like liquid candy. The label shows orchards, sun, maybe even the word pure. But twist the cap, and what you get is a concentrated, pasteurized, sugar-loaded brew dressed up as health. Fruit or flavored sugar water? Here's the betrayal in full. Brands stamp 100% juice across the front, promising vitamins straight from the orchard. What they don't advertise is the processing. Fruit boiled down into concentrate, stripped of fiber, reheated, and often re-sweetened to restore flavor. That means what lands in your glass is closer to soda than fruit. The FDA's Pesticide Residue Monitoring Program has even reported leftover traces of farm chemicals in juice samples, so that clean, fresh taste may come with a chemical bonus. Now connect this to seniors' health. A standard 8-ounce glass of bottled apple juice can pack 24 grams of sugar. That's 6 teaspoons, nearly the same as cola. For older adults managing kidney function, insulin resistance, or heart meds, that's a sugar surge your body doesn't need. One study in the Journal of the American Dietetic Association showed that seniors who drank fruit juice daily had more frequent glucose spikes, which strained both kidneys and blood pressure balance. You think you're hydrating, but you're stressing your system. Let's make it sensory. Pour bottled orange juice into a glass. The smell isn't orchard bright, it's flat, almost syrupy. The liquid coats the glass in a sticky film. Take a sip. It's sweet, yes, but one note, almost cloying, with none of the sharp bite you'd get from fresh squeezed. That's the pasteurization and added sugar talking. Your tongue knows the difference. Would you call that juice or soda in disguise? And here's a real-world twist. Inspectors have flagged juice plants for sloppy storage, raw concentrates sitting too warm, containers stacked by vents, juice aging before it's even bottled. Customers rarely hear about it, but reports have slipped into FDA recall lists over the years. Meanwhile, ads keep showing smiling families at breakfast tables, holding up juice glasses like trophies. That's the betrayal. Health on the box, sugar in the bottle. The orchard's on the label, but the lab's in the liquid. Now, let's talk alternatives so you're not left helpless. Swap bottled juice for whole fruit. An apple or an orange gives you fiber, slows sugar absorption, and delivers the vitamins without the sugar dump. Or, if you want juice, make it fresh at home in small amounts. Even better, cut it with water or sparkling water. You'll get flavor without drowning your kidneys in glucose. Have you ever noticed bottled juice tasting more like syrup than fruit? Drop your story. Let's compare healthy labels gone wrong. Want to stay ahead of food dangers and hidden risks? Hit subscribe now so you don't miss the facts that could protect your health. From fruit to fake tea, bottled iced teas. Seniors sip them daily, but what's inside the bottle can leave bones brittle and stomachs turning. Dropping into number 6, sweetened iced teas, the bottles that sparkle with golden light, condensation dripping down the sides, and promises of real brewed. Crack one open and the smell is faintly floral, sweet, almost inviting. But under that golden glow hides a mess of high fructose corn syrup, phosphoric acid, and in some cases mold. Golden color, dark truth. The betrayal here is sharp. These brands sell themselves as a better choice than soda. Brewed tea leaves, natural flavor, even refreshing antioxidants. Yet most bottles carry more sugar than cola. A 20-ounce bottle can slam you with over 40 grams of sugar. That's 10 teaspoons. For seniors already struggling with insulin balance or kidney load, that's a dangerous hit disguised as something gentle. And it gets worse. The acid that gives that crisp tang? Often phosphoric acid, the same ingredient that erodes enamel and has been linked to bone density loss. For older adults already facing osteoporosis, that's like sipping away at your skeleton one gulp at a time. Would you drink tea that eats at your bones? Then comes the horror behind the scenes. In 2019, FDA inspectors flagged multiple iced tea brands for mold growth in storage tanks. Production facilities were caught with poorly cleaned vats, sticky residues, and barrels stacked in warm warehouses. Yet the bottles still rolled out to stores, wrapped in shiny labels about freshness. The betrayal is right there. Ads selling summer health while inspectors wrote unsanitary conditions in their reports. Now picture this. You pour a bottle of sweet tea into a glass. The first sip clings to your tongue with syrupy weight. It doesn't quench thirst. It coats your mouth in sticky sweetness. Leave that glass on the counter and watch the film dry into a faint, tacky residue. That's not tea. It's bottled candy water with a marketing department. For seniors, the risks hit hard. Blood sugar spikes can mess with kidney filtration. Phosphoric acid can nudge calcium out of already fragile bones. And for those on blood pressure meds, the sugar load can directly counteract what the medication is trying to control. You can avoid these things by just keeping it simple. Brew tea at home. Black, green, or herbal, steep it, cool it, and sweeten with stevia or honey if you must. You control the sugar, you skip the chemicals, and you get tea that actually tastes like leaves, not syrup. Have you ever noticed bottled tea tasting more like soda than tea? Share your real brewed letdowns below. From fake tea to salty hydration, you'll sweat this one. Sports drinks promise balance, but what they really serve up might leave seniors drier than before. Cracking into number 5, we're looking at sports drinks. The neon bottles lined up like trophies on convenience store shelves. They shine in orange, blue, and lime green, promising hydration and electrolyte balance. You see sweaty athletes in commercials, pouring them over their heads like liquid victory. But for seniors, what's inside is no metal. It's a sodium and sugar trap that leaves your body worse off than before. Hydration that actually dries you out. The promise here is bold. Replace what you lose in sweat. Stay balanced. Brands like Gatorade and Powerade pitch themselves as science-backed partners in fitness. But pull back the cap, take a sip, and the first thing you taste is syrup. That's because a standard 20-ounce bottle can pack 34 grams of sugar, about 8 teaspoons, and nearly 300 milligrams of sodium. That's not hydration. That's a blood pressure spike waiting to happen. For seniors on heart or kidney meds, it's worse. Extra sodium can push blood pressure higher, straining arteries already under stress. The sugar load raises blood glucose fast, leaving the kidneys scrambling to filter the mess. And instead of preventing dehydration, sugar-heavy drinks actually pull water into your gut, sometimes leaving you more dehydrated than before. A 2021 CDC report looked at ER visits for dehydration. Seniors who regularly consumed sports drinks were more likely to end up in the ER, not less. The betrayal? A drink promising protection leaves older adults hooked up to IV fluids under hospital lights. Why does hydration land seniors in the ER? And then there are the colors. That neon blue or lime green glow? It comes from dyes like yellow number 5 and blue number 1, additives banned or restricted in parts of Europe because of concerns about hyperactivity and allergic reactions. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. once pointed out how ingredients considered safe in the US wouldn't pass the bar across the Atlantic. So while American ads call them game fuel, regulators abroad call them questionable. The betrayal hits hardest when you remember who these drinks target. Brands plaster sports icons on billboards, but plenty of seniors reach for them when they feel weak or dizzy. The label says electrolytes, so it feels safe, almost medical. Yet FDA records show multiple recalls over microbial contamination in flavored sports drinks. One inspection even noted mildew in the mixing tanks. So that bright orange bottle in your fridge might have come from a vat with black streaks creeping along the steel walls. So what's the safer thing to do? Skip the neon. Pour yourself a tall glass of water with a squeeze of lemon and a pinch of Himalayan salt. You'll get real electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium, without the sugar overload or artificial dyes. Want flavor? Add a slice of cucumber or mint leaves. That's hydration your meds won't fight against. Have you ever thought sports drinks made you thirstier, not better? Drop your story in the comments. Sports drinks already left you salty, but the next stop? Cans of coffee that swap pick-me-up for heart-pounding regret. Sliding into number 4, we hit canned coffee drinks. Pop the tab, a sweet roasted smell rushes out, but hold that sip. These cans aren't your cafe on the go. They're chemical cocktails dressed up as coffee. Coffee shouldn't come with a chemical label. The promise is simple: barista flavor in a can. Labels brag about cold brew, latte blends, or mocha swirls. But behind that shiny metal, you'll find 30 to 40 grams of sugar in a single can, sometimes more than a donut. Add preservatives like potassium sorbate and artificial flavors, and suddenly your morning pick-me-up looks more like a lab project than a coffee break. The betrayal? A product marketed as artisanal convenience is basically liquid dessert with stabilizers. Now, let's talk numbers. In Japan, regulators have set tighter limits on caffeine and sugar in canned coffee. They even restrict certain preservatives. But here in the US, the FDA hasn't imposed the same strict rules. So brands pump in whatever keeps the can shelf stable for months. That means your fresh coffee might have been brewed half a year ago and stored in a warehouse, slowly marinating in chemicals. Fresh coffee that's been sitting 6 months? For seniors, the risks climb fast. Many take diuretics for blood pressure. Mix that with a sugar-heavy, caffeine-loaded canned latte, and you've got a recipe for electrolyte imbalance. Too much caffeine plus the water loss effect of meds can trigger tremors, dizziness, even fainting. Add sugar swings, and it's a double hit for kidneys already under pressure. One staff forum even joked, "It's not coffee, it's soda with a coffee aftertaste." But there's nothing funny when fainting spells turn into ER trips. And yes, ER doctors do see patients whose only mistake was washing down their meds with these drinks. And then there's the taste itself. That sharp metallic tang after the first sip? That's from the can lining breaking down under heat storage. Leave one in a hot car, open it later, and you'll get a bitter edge mixed with something chemical. One whistleblower claimed a warehouse kept pallets near heating vents to save space. Those cans aged faster, but still shipped. To fix this, brew a fresh cup at home, or make a small cold brew batch in your fridge. Add unsweetened almond milk or cinnamon for flavor. You'll skip the preservatives, keep control of the sugar, and actually taste coffee, not syrup. Have you ever noticed that canned coffee tastes more like dessert than coffee? Share your story below. Coffee cans felt like sugar bombs? Just wait. The next one is literally a milkshake in disguise, sold as healthy. Cracking into number 3, we land on flavored milks. Pink swirls, a candy-like smell, and that sticky mouthfeel that coats your tongue. They look playful, they feel nostalgic, but for seniors, they're traps in a carton. Calcium drowned in sugar. The promise is straight from the label. Calcium-rich, strong bones, a fun way to get dairy. The betrayal? These drinks often pack more sugar than a soda. A small strawberry milk can clock in at 30 to 40 grams of sugar. That's more than 10 teaspoons, all in one gulp. Instead of protecting bones, it sets up insulin spikes, acid reflux, and weight gain. And it's not just the sugar. Food dyes like red number 40 or blue number 1 creep into the mix. The European Union already restricts some of these additives in children's products, labeling them as potential hyperactivity triggers. Yet in the US, the FDA still lets them slip into flavored milks without strong warnings. Seniors with sensitive stomachs or kidney issues? They're left to figure it out the hard way. Healthy branding, candy-level sugar. There's proof in the science. A 2020 Yale study tied sweetened dairy drinks to higher rates of dental decay in older adults. Seniors already face dry mouth from medications, and adding sugary milk only accelerates tooth loss. Pair that with reflux from the heavy mix of sugar and fat, and your nightly treat becomes a recipe for stomach acid creeping back up the throat. One staff comment from a dairy plant summed it up bluntly. The flavor tanks smell like syrup, not milk. When insiders are calling it syrup, you know it's not calcium-rich health. It's dessert with a dairy mask. And here's another angle. Insulin spikes. Seniors who manage diabetes or prediabetes can see dangerous swings after a single carton. A Yale endocrinologist noted that sweetened dairy is one of the most overlooked sugar bombs in older diets. What was pitched as nourishment turns into blood sugar chaos. So what's the safe move? Skip the neon-colored milk. Go with unsweetened oat or almond milk, especially the versions fortified with calcium and vitamin D. They give the bone protection without the sugar crash. Even better, add a small splash of vanilla or cinnamon at home if you want flavor without the syrup. Have you ever grabbed a flavored milk, thinking it was healthy only to regret it later? Share your story. We want to hear the real experiences. And if flavored milk feels like a candy-coated betrayal, wait until you pour out a lemonade that spoils before the sun even sets. Sliding into number 2, we hit packaged lemonades. You see the frosted glass, smell that tart citrus, and expect a clean sip of fruit and water. But once it touches your tongue, it's thick, syrupy, and leaves a film that clings to your teeth. That's not refreshment. That's trouble in a bottle. Lemonade or liquid bacteria? The promise is simple. Fruit plus water, nothing to worry about. The betrayal is darker. Many brands pump in high fructose corn syrup, artificial dyes like yellow number 5, and sulfites to extend shelf life. Seniors, who often choose lemonade thinking it's lighter than soda, end up drinking the same sugar load with an acidic twist that punishes kidneys already working overtime. The FDA's recall history tells the rest. Over the last decade, dozens of lemon-based drinks were yanked from shelves for bacterial contamination. In some cases, inspectors found harmful microbes thriving in the sugary, slightly acidic liquid that should have been safe. Think about it, your summer refresher doubling as a petri dish. And then there's the sugar. A single bottle can contain 50 grams or more, about 12 teaspoons. For older adults on blood pressure or kidney medication, that's a sugar shock waiting to happen. It spikes insulin, dehydrates the body, and leaves the heart struggling to stabilize. Instead of quenching thirst, it drives people straight to the ER with dizziness or chest tightness. Refreshing label, kidney stress in reality. A retired FDA inspector once noted that lemon drinks are among the most commonly mislabeled products for sugar content. In Europe, many of these brands face tighter limits or added warning labels. Here, shelves stay stocked, marketing keeps glowing, and seniors keep sipping. Even the smell can be deceiving. Fresh lemon has a sharp, clean scent. Packaged versions? They reek faintly of syrup, with a metallic edge from the preservatives. Pour it out, and the liquid sometimes looks cloudy, not fresh pulp, but separation from chemicals and sugar settling. So, what's the safer swap? Skip the bottled shortcut. Squeeze half a fresh lemon into cold water, add a touch of stevia, or even a drizzle of honey, and you've got the real thing. No sulfites, no sugar bomb, just hydration that won't wreck your labs. Have you ever opened a bottled lemonade and thought it tasted off? Drop your story. Your experience might save someone else from making the same mistake. Now the final betrayal comes with whipped cream and a green straw. That's where the sugar avalanche truly begins. Topping the list at number 1, we reach the glossy glass towers of fancy coffeehouse frappes. You know the look. Whipped cream piled high like a snowy mountain, caramel or chocolate syrup dripping down the sides, and a straw stabbing into the chaos. It feels indulgent, artisan, even classy. But behind that cream cloud hides one of the most dangerous drinks you could order. Coffee or dessert in disguise? The promise is simple. A handcrafted treat from a trusted chain. The betrayal? A single large frappuccino can slam down 20 teaspoons of sugar in one sitting. That's more than a full day's recommended intake, sipped in minutes. For seniors, especially those managing diabetes, high blood pressure, or kidney conditions, that's a direct hit to blood sugar stability. What looks like a reward can leave you shaky, lightheaded, or even facing a late-night hospital run. But it's not just sugar. Health inspectors have flagged bacteria inside whipped cream canisters in multiple coffeehouse chains. Staff forums describe cream nozzles left uncleaned overnight, sticky and warm. One whistleblower admitted, if customers knew how long some of that cream sat out, they'd never order it again. Think about that the next time you sip cool and creamy. And let's talk about calories. A large caramel frappe packs 500 to 600 calories, often more than a Big Mac. Add the syrups, sauces, and milk base, and you're not drinking coffee. You're spooning down liquid cake batter. Even the FDA allows these drinks to avoid posting clear sugar warnings, while in parts of Europe, stricter labeling rules force brands to tell the truth. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. once blasted this, saying products here are sold safer overseas than they are en mer. in America. Sweet on the outside, toxic inside. The sensory reality? The whipped cream starts soft but melts into a greasy film. The caramel drizzle clings like glue, coating your teeth. And the drink itself, slushy at first, settles into a thick sludge that smells faintly metallic from preservatives. That's not morning coffee. That's dessert sludge dressed in coffee branding. So what's the fix? Keep it simple. Skip the frappe circus and order plain black coffee. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon if you want flavor. Cinnamon naturally lowers blood sugar and adds warmth without fake syrups. If you like cold drinks, pour brewed coffee over ice and add unsweetened almond milk. Clean, light, and safe. Have you ever felt sick after a frappe but brushed it off as too much sugar? Share it below. Your story might wake someone else up before their next order. Enough poison? Let's talk cans that won't kill you. Two safe picks are up next, and these actually help instead of harm. Coming in as the first safe pick, we've got Herbal Teas, the warm, calming drink that feels like a blanket in a cup. No fizz, no chemicals, no sugar bombs, just clean steam curling up from the mug, carrying scents of chamomile, peppermint, or ginger. Seniors searching for relief from harsh drinks find their answer here. Gentle steam, not chemical foam. The promise matches the delivery. Herbal teas don't pretend to be guilt-free or energy-boosting while hiding syrups and dyes. They're naturally caffeine-free and rich in antioxidants, making them safe even for those juggling multiple medications. Unlike diet sodas or energy drinks, there's no secret hit to blood pressure, no kidney strain, and no racing heartbeat. Instead, seniors get hydration that soothes digestion and calms the nervous system. Now, here's where it really matters. A 2020 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that regular herbal tea drinkers had lower markers of inflammation. That means fewer aches, better circulation, and improved sleep quality. Compare that to the FDA-approved sugar circus of frappes and sodas, and the difference is night and day. Relief in the cup, not regret. The sensory payoff is real. Chamomile smells like fresh hay after rain, peppermint cools the tongue with a sharp tingle, and ginger brings a spicy warmth that lingers in the chest. There's no sticky residue on your teeth, no syrup film coating your throat, just a clean finish that actually feels like health, not harm. And there's no betrayal of trust here. Herbal teas aren't packaged as vitamin-packed, while hiding pesticide traces, the way fruit juices are. They're as close to honest as a drink can get. Dried leaves, flowers, or roots steeped in hot water. What you see is what you sip. For seniors balancing heart meds or kidney function, honesty matters. No sodium traps, no artificial coloring, no labels that trick you into thinking you're doing something healthy while your body suffers. Just calm support for the system that's already doing its best to keep up. So here's your fix. Stock your cabinet with caffeine-free blends like rooibos, peppermint, or chamomile. Drink them warm in the evening for sleep or iced during the day for refreshment. They'll hydrate you, soothe digestion, and even ease stress, all without the dangers hidden in the fun drinks on this list. What's your go-to herbal tea at night? Is it chamomile, peppermint, or something more exotic like hibiscus? Drop it below. I bet others are looking for ideas. One safe pick down, but there's one more. And this last one isn't fancy. It's the simplest drink of all, but it beats every branded bottle in honesty and health. For our second safe pick, we strip it back to basics: filtered water. No caramel drizzle, no neon dye, no chemical aftertaste. Just a clear glass filled with something your body actually needs to survive. Seniors chasing hydration don't need a brand, a logo, or a marketing pitch. They need water that doesn't stab the kidneys or spike the blood pressure. Pure, crisp, nothing hidden. Here's the deal. Tap water in the US often carries chlorine, fluoride, and sometimes trace heavy metals from old pipes. Bottled water, studies have shown it often contains microplastics. In 2019, the World Health Organization flagged bottled water as a growing concern for seniors with weaker immune systems. So the best fix isn't buying another branded smart water, it's filtering your own. A reverse osmosis filter, or even a simple activated charcoal filter, removes chlorine, lead, and pesticide residue. That makes each sip clean, crisp, and safe. No syrupy mouthfeel, no chemical tang, no surprise sodium hidden on the label. Just cold water that actually refreshes. Safer than soda, cheaper than medicine. For seniors, this matters more than most people realize. Filtered water helps kidneys process meds without added strain. It keeps blood pressure stable by avoiding hidden salts. It prevents dehydration, the very thing that put thousands of older adults in ERs in 2021, according to CDC reports. Compare that to the betrayal of sports drinks and hydrating sodas, and water wins every time. And let's not skip the sensory part. A tall glass of filtered water shines clear, no cloud, no odd smell. Take a sip, and it feels crisp on the tongue, cool, without the metallic twang of tap water or the plastic note of bottled water left in a hot car. It doesn't coat your teeth, doesn't leave sticky lips. It's just clean relief. Here's what makes it even better. You control the source. A countertop filter or under-sink system lets you cut off the corporate lies and take back what's yours. No more FDA approvals that allow microplastics in bottled water. No more tricks with labels showing snow-capped mountains while the liquid inside comes from a municipal pipe. With filtered water, you're in charge. The fix couldn't be simpler. Drink filtered water, and if you want flavor, squeeze a slice of lemon or drop in a cucumber. That's it. Cheap, safe, and clean. No additives, no lies. What's in your water filter, charcoal, reverse osmosis, or nothing yet? Drop it below and let's see how people are keeping their water safe. After all those poisoned cans and sugar bombs, the final truth is simple. The only drink that never betrayed you was sitting in your sink the whole time. Don't risk your health on bad choices. Subscribe now, and I'll show you what to avoid and what's actually safe every single week.